Hello and welcome to the mid-show show. Okay, so I'm on tour. I'm doing a topical show called Topical Storm. It's the interval, so I have 10 minutes to waste. So I'm doing a mid-show show, telling you about comedy, the jokes I write. So it's a topical show, which means I do jokes about the news in addition to jokes about me, right? It's not just me spending 90 minutes talking about my life and my bad relationships as previous relationship shows have been. It's a bit of talking about the world. So this week, I will tell you what stories I've done jokes about. Okay, so of course, I have mentioned the horrible war that is going on, but I'll talk about that last. Okay, so I'll tell you the silly stories I've talked about. So just yesterday, this is the first story which I did a bunch of jokes about. Just yesterday, Ryanair was boarded by bailiffs, okay, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So Ryanair was boarded by bailiffs and they owed money. So I did a joke in today's show, which was about how I wished I was on that flight. This is a sign that we're really in a, financial crisis. Bailiffs are now chasing you onto flights, but of course, I hope that Ryanair never pays and they just start behaving like I believe when bailiffs were after me in my life. So things like, you'll get on the plane and the pilot will stick his head out of the door and say, don't tell anyone I'm there. Don't tell anyone I'm here. And then also, I imagine a reality where the bailiffs are actually loan sharks and they come and they start like breaking the legs of staff, slashing the tires, commandeering wings. And I just kind of messed around with that kind of alternate reality. So that was one of the topical stories which I talked about. And then, of course, I had the dilemma facing a lot of comics right now is how, if you're going to do topical jokes, do you talk about the war where people are dying, where their children dying, where it's escalating and going to horrible places? How do you talk about this? Now, of course, the obvious way you can talk about this is you just do jokes about Trump and the illogical things he's said. Literally, he's saying, we've won the war, but we need to keep going. And there's all kinds of things you could focus on there. But the problem is, it's kind of obvious. Do you know what I mean? Like, Trump says illogical things every day, and people are tired of Trump jokes. I mean, literally, when I first started the tour, I had maybe 10 Trump jokes talking about, like, when the California fires were going on and he blamed it on lesbian firefighters, and I would say, hey, that's not how vaginal dryness works. And I had jokes about him in Greenland. I had jokes about, but really the problem is he's almost immune to satire because he already says a thing funnier than what you could do. What comedians usually do is something crazy happens and you add something crazy on top of it, right? That's how comedy works. But if the person you're doing a joke about has already done crazier than what you could do, you can't talk about it. And again, it's a very depressing story. How do you talk about a war? So I've tried to discuss things like, the munitions which they're using. They spent $5 billion in 2 days. That's the expenditure and the waste of money is somewhere you can find satire. But because I live in the UK, where instead I went to Tony Blair showing up out of nowhere. No one called him to show up, but Tony Blair just was like, they're playing my song, bombing Middle East, I know about this, oh, I'm the one who knows about this, and literally came on the scene saying, the UK should have supported the bombing campaign and so on and so forth. And it was just one of those things, like, it's really interesting how, if not for the Iraq war, Blair would be remembered so positively, right? And it's the one thing that changed how people see him, but he's still banging on about, like, he has no regrets in that. And then ironically, Keir Starmer, very unpopular, and then he stands up and says, no, we're not joining the bombing campaign. And it's the first thing he's done, which is popular with the British people. So I focused on that. And did jokes about that, because it's not direct. You're not mocking death. You're mocking, blowhards and politicians. So that's sort of where I went. What other topical jokes are still in the show? Because the show rotates, right? Old jokes, older stories disappear. So probably this is the last week I'm doing the joke about the Winter Olympics, because I did a joke about the Winter Olympics cheating scandal, where people are suspected of injecting acid into their private parts because it makes them larger and that improves aerodynamics. That is legitimately hilarious. Okay, that is legitimately insane. And that is what I wish I could do the whole show about. That's the kind of silliness. Comedians live for stupidity stories like that, right? If you're trying to do a topical show, that's the kind of show you wish you could do. Anyway, so that legitimately is my little mid-show, right? Because I'm in the interval. I'm going to be doing this at the rest of my tour shows. So subscribe, come check out me talking about this, in the future. Because I tried to do it as an after show, but after the show, I want to hang out with people. I want to go for a drink. I want to chill. So mid-show is the only place I can do this. So I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my tour. I think there are around 25, 30 more dates. I have not counted, but something like that. So please keep coming back and see how the show evolves as I give you a roundup of the progression.